We're back. Hey everybody, I'm glad to see you got your favorite beverage ready. So let's do this. Woohoo, yeah. Good to see you all. This is Lars again with the 2020 kickoff of Educate for Life. It's been a while. I'm sure you guys have been enjoying the holidays. You've been super busy closing the last year and starting a new one. And I'm super excited to be able to start a new one with you guys and with Educate for Life and with the new sprint that I'll be introducing to you today. So let's go for it. But more than anything, this is a community event, and I'd like you all to feel welcome to the community. Some of you have been part of the community since the beginning, actually many of you, and there's also many of you who joined recently. So welcome to you all. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce ourselves to each other. We might be quite a lot of people, so it's not going to be by voice for the most part of us, but in the chat. Thank you very much, David, for kicking us off. Please now introduce yourself in the chat and use your name and where is home for you. There was a stewardess asking that question recently. I was quite often on that flight. So where is you? Part of the Educate for Life community. And finally, mention one thing that you enjoy doing that others think is crazy. So there we go. Please put it into the chat. Your name, where home is for you, how long you've been part of our Educate for Life community, and one thing you enjoy that others think is crazy. Sorry to put you to work right away. So we have David from Nigeria. There we go. Sanjay enjoys asking loads of questions for sure. Sanjay, I know, but they're good questions and keep them coming. So hope everything's well in Johannesburg. Everybody else, please post here your name and all the other stuff. And Sahar, hey, good to see you, Sahar. And Peter from Denmark. All right. Yes, Gabriel was part of the first Educate for Life sprint and still rocking the boat with us. So thank you, Gabriel. Amazing. And Diana from Beijing. Thank you for being here, Diana. Peter, thank you for being here. Enjoys meditating while jogging in the woods. I don't think that's crazy. I enjoy that as well, but maybe everybody else thinks it's crazy. I don't know. Then we need a paradigm shift. And let me see here. And Alistair, your MTP, woo, to amplify human capability using cognitive technologies and sciences. I need to hear a lot more about that. Let's arrange a community session with you on that. And Sahar, yes, perfect. Just joined a week ago, but we already spoke. Empower everyone to make a positive impact. And Sahar will be in the coach team, but we'll get back to get back to that. And Klaus, good to see you, Klaus. Yes, and Justina, amazing to have you again, Justina. I didn't bring the photo. I'll find the photo of the cake, I think. Justina made an amazing cake as a wrap of the first sprint. You can find it all over our social media and our platform. It was amazing. I'll never forget that. Thank you for being with us. And Crystal, thank you for being here, Crystal. We'll talk to Crystal again in a bit. And Jabeen from Toronto. Yes, Jabeen. Woohoo! Early morning, but good to see you. And Jabeen, accelerate sustainable prosperity for all. Makes me crazy to others, not to me. I think that's exactly what we need. And Mariette from Netherlands, welcome. Home is Amsterdam and Rio de Janeiro. Woohoo! And totally new in this sprint. So you're going to get an introduction in this call. And that is one reason you're here, I'm sure, and also to meet the rest of us here. And all right, cool. So let me just introduce myself to those of you who haven't met me before, but keep posting in the chat. And Michael Smith, excellent to have you, Michael. Home for you is Netherlands, but you currently live in Canada. Yes, exactly. We have a lot to talk about as well. And Kim, good to have you. And Kim has been one of our amazing speakers last year in one of our sessions, and Kim is absolutely fabulous. I'm so excited to have you here again, Kim. So let me just introduce myself. I'm Lars, the facilitator of this sprint, and the crazy guy who I'm the one to blame for this community, I think, who got this thing started. Home for me is Copenhagen, although I do feel home pretty much all over the world, thanks to the amazing people I meet everywhere. So I really enjoyed visiting and working everywhere. So I've been part of the Educate for Life community from day one, just like many of you. And the one thing that I enjoy that others think is crazy is coming here. So I'm letting it out of the box. And this is being recorded, by the way. There's no way back. Here's Lars. Yeah, it's nice. I said that in Danish, but you could tell I enjoy this ice bathing. We don't have any ice on the lakes this year, unfortunately, in Denmark. So just a quick recap of last year. Last year was our very first 12-week EXO sprint based on exponential organizations. And you will see all about it on the events on the website, EducateforLife. You can see the recordings of the different in-person sessions that we did during that sprint. And we are about to begin doing the same thing again. Some things will be a bit different. I hope better. I think better. And we're going to be even more people this time, and it's going to be even more exciting and an amazing learning journey for all of us. We're going to collaborate as a community. I'll talk more about that in just a bit. But I just wanted to point you to these resources, these recordings of the main workshops that we did last year. They are under events on our website. I'll get back to the specific type of workshops. Here you see the last one, the launch workshop in fast forward. I think this is 8,000 times the speed, almost speed. Essentially, we covered the whole sprint journey, all the way from researching new technologies and trends. We did ideate around new initiatives that can change education, create a new type of education. We went out to test our main hypothesis around these initiatives to see, is this sane? It's not sane, by the way, then we wouldn't do it. But is there potentially a market, or are there users looking for this kind of idea? We went through some preparations for a pitch session. We call it a disrupt workshop, where we meet and disrupt each other's thinking around these new ideas for new initiatives. We try to turn these ideas into 10 times more impact, improve them by a 10x at a minimum on a number of different factors. Can we make it 10 times more scalable? Can we make it a 10 times cheaper offering for those who need these services? Can we make it 10 times more impactful? After the Disrupt workshop, we came back stronger with improvements to the ideas, radical improvements, I would say. We went through a prototyping stage. We went out into the field, tested the ideas on real users, came back with some market validation, presented to a panel. Jabin was one of the amazing panelists. And so thank you for that again, Jabin. And since then, some of these sprint teams have been actually implementing their initiatives out in the real world. That's a story for another community call, but it's absolutely been an amazing journey. And now we are back to do it again. We are going to work in virtual teams. They haven't been formed yet. So if you're not in a team, don't worry. You will be in a team actually from today and for the next month approximately. We are working on this team formation. So all you need to do is just register your name on our website. I'll show you later where you do that if you haven't done it yet. Indicates which roles in the sprint that you're interested in, and we will help you to form a team and handle all the other practicalities. So you're ready for February 24th, when we are kicking off this 2020 sprint. I'm very excited about that. We're going to create ideas for a new paradigm for education. And the new paradigm, in my opinion, is very important that somebody takes the lead on creating this. We need to lift ourselves out of everything we believe to be education. We have so many limitations to what education can be, how education can be delivered, and we have to create a new paradigm and start transforming ourselves and each other into that paradigm. But what's that going to look like? We don't know yet. That is what I really want to explore in this sprint. So we're going to have a dedicated sprint group working on this and leading the way with this kind of initiative. But if you have ideas that you cannot immediately put under this umbrella, that's okay. You can still form a team with others who are equally passionate about that problem, about that theme, about that topic. We can still form a team, and you can still benefit from being facilitated step by step through the 10-week sprint that we are starting in February. So I don't know about you, but I'm totally ready to start co-founding what I like to call the Planet Pilot Education. And I'll get back to what I mean with that, but that's the brand that I have kind of put on this for now. But as I said, you can create entirely different initiatives during the sprint. I would love to see that happen. And if you want to join under the umbrella of Planet Pilot, please do so. I'm here to be your coach and facilitator during the sprint, and I'm always available to help. So let's just talk a little bit about paradigm. I keep talking about that word. So what do I mean by paradigm? Well, the paradigm is your way of thinking, your lens through which you see the world, right? And we all live in our paradigm. We all have a certain lens that shapes how we see the world. And this is important for shaping our beliefs and perceptions. And we do allow ourselves to define which information we allow to impact and influence ourselves. And this is what I believe we have to change. We have to help each other, our kids and fellow adults, to understand how can we live in a different paradigm and how can we create educational offerings in this new paradigm. As a matter of fact, I just went through some statistics. By the age of 16, you have heard the word no 60,000 times. 60,000 times. I totally feel that way as well. I'm sure it's probably the same for you. And each no you hear, it's part of shaping you and forming your paradigm, isn't it? And fortunately, I'm sure you have heard a lot of yeses as well, and got a lot of support on the way, but there's also a lot of no's in our life. And when we are adults, we still live in the world of no's and can'ts and don'ts and shouldn'ts, don't we? So this is really limiting how we each define what's possible and what we can do. And we need to get rid of that. We really need to form this new paradigm where we believe anything is possible and we are excited about trying to make it possible, find out how. And this is what the Planet Pilots are going to represent in my idea. When I work with business professionals, because that's primarily my target group in my work, so I work with top leaders, I work with hand-picked people from clients, organizations, and many of them, surprisingly many, talk a lot about that we cannot change, we cannot get time, we cannot get budget, we cannot do this, we cannot do that. I don't want to be the guinea pig in these things. What kind of mindset is that? If our kids say that, and they do sometimes, I bet that you will chase them until they stop talking that way, right? But when we are in a business setting, this is what we say all the time as adults. And we have to change that paradigm. We have to change our belief systems. So I'm going to run a little interactive session with you. So it's not just me, but that I want to I want to involve you guys in this little session here. We're going to use the Q&A box, which is at the bottom right next to the chat function in your Zoom window. Use the Q&A to write down what is the number one limiting belief coming up for you right now. And I want you to consider two aspects. One is your personal limiting belief about your own life. You can keep that to yourself. I'm not going to bring that out in the open. Think about it just for a moment. What is the number one limiting belief that is in your head today or these days. I also want you to think about, for the future of education, what is your limiting belief? What is it you think probably cannot be done? When you have that limiting belief for the future of education, please put it in the Q&A box. And thank you, Michael, for your question. I'll get back to answer you a little bit better later on the call. So please get into the Q&A box. It's next to the chat function here in Zoom, the Q&A box. And please write what is your number one limiting belief about future of education? For me personally, let me, yeah, okay, thank you. We got Crystal, we got Sanjay, thank you guys, wonderful. And they're open answers, so you can actually like an answer if you like somebody else's input here. Great, Crystal, Sanjay, Sahar, Roberto, welcome Roberto. Jamil, good to have you, Jamil. Yeah. We got some interesting ones here. Government policies are very rigid and slow to change that affect public education. Limiting belief that we need the participation of existing educational institutions to make this work. Yeah, that's a good limiting belief. I hope we can jump over it, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Find a way around it. And Sahar, challenging to change the future of education regulations. Yeah, great, keep them coming. Great, many good ones here. It will take at least a generation or two to completely transform our current education system. Excellent, keep them coming. I'm going to take us just one step forward here. I'll take you to this is a lightning breakthrough session. Is this belief serving you? Is the belief serving you in your work, your desire to change how education works? As a matter of fact, are you constantly looking for evidence to support this belief? Chances are that you are. So what belief will serve you better? This is the next little exercise. Create your new belief right now. What you can do later and from here on is start looking for the evidence to support that this can actually work. So what new belief would serve you better to get past your old belief? Please write it in the same Q&A box. Jabin, I believe all the limitations can be eliminated. Yes. However, yeah. Okay, now we're getting to the new beliefs. I like that. Mariette, my belief, everyone is learning everywhere. Yes. Crystal, new belief, individual can do big things as a government can do. Yes, exactly. Diana, education becoming a living organism. I like that. Sanjay, with an MTP filled with heart and empathy, their only possibilities. Yes, I fully agree. Michael, I believe we can come together and realize the rapid change required, however radical this change might have to be. Yeah, agree. This is what we need a community for, in my opinion. We need somebody who believes in us and is part of that conversation when we have these radical ideas for change, right? Alistair, the unteachable becomes the teachable anywhere, anytime. I like that. And a community can do the big things together. Exactly, Javeen. Jamil, non-traditional forms of educational learning are as widely accepted and as legitimate as traditional schools. This is exactly what I'm dreaming of, where you actually are able to document all your knowledge, everything you know, and the value that you represent in this world. Not from diplomas and certificates only, at least I don't mind those, but we need to find another way to document our knowledge. Roberto, internet and better communication let us broaden our belief system. Yes, I hope so. I think so. I think so. And it gives us access to each other. So we can get help, we can broaden our horizon, we can collaborate with more diverse input and all of that. That is an amazing opportunity. Personalized learning to create a movement, community of engaged people, especially people with large visibility, large network, influence and credibility to lead the transformation. Yes, Klaus, thank you. Exciting. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Never stop. If you feel some limiting beliefs at some point, write it down and do the same thing here. Find a new belief instead. So imagine, visualize yourself in your new paradigm with all the new energy that you get when you're in that paradigm. Spend a minute visualizing yourself in that new paradigm. You already put the belief in the Q&A, but keep them coming. That was nice, wasn't it? A nice break from the daily reality. We need to create that new reality. And I think the planet pilots possess those qualities, those skill sets that can create this new reality. The planet pilot, in my view, as we are meeting here today, is somebody who has a positive mindset, somebody who takes ownership of situations, somebody who's self-aware, somebody who has ambitions for solving large global challenges, somebody who wants to create a massive impact, somebody who can lead, teach, create, and inspire, somebody who can navigate the immune system responses from the environment around us, somebody who's a lifelong learner. And we'll find them anywhere, everywhere, in all sorts of organizations and industries, in all countries. And it's somebody who make everybody else feel respected and supported. And the Planet Pilot role is not created yet. It doesn't exist yet. But we're going in the work group I will be in myself. We're going to create this Planet Pilot role in this sprint. And we are going to come to all of you for feedback, for input, ask you to challenge us, ask you to disrupt our thinking, so we can really bring this to life and start educating planet pilots. This is our lifespan, more or less. These are the official categories throughout life. And I believe that we can train planet pilots of all ages. Maybe pre-birth is, I don't know what we can do there just yet. We'll probably figure that out someday. But for the rest of the lifespan, I think there's so much we can do. And obviously I will go first, and I want to be in the first cohort that gets educated as planet pilot. This is Face app telling me what I will look like at late adulthood. I don't think it's so different from today, unfortunately. But I do have a beard. I like it actually, so I should grow a beard, I think. I couldn't kind of get the app to show myself as a toddler. That could be interesting. Maybe you guys know an app that can do that, then I'd be happy to know. But as I said, I will be in the first cohort as a planet pilot. And if there are any volunteers on this call, please let me know. And I will bring my family into this. I'm not doing this just for the fun of it. I'm very serious about this, and I'm bringing my family into this. We'll all be in the first cohort. So if you know somebody, ideally somebody with kids as well, make sure that they get introduced to this, because we are going to need at least to test our concepts on somebody. But certainly also involve and include those who are interested. So Abraham Maslow knew a long time ago what we are talking about today, and lots of people are fortunately talking about. All of life is education. Everybody is a teacher. Everybody is forever pupil. And that is true, but it's not really reflected in our educational structures and systems, and that's a huge problem, in my opinion, for the future. So we need to create that new paradigm on the edge of the existing system. And in my view, in my ambition, in my dream, there are no schools. They're welcome to be here, and we might visit schools once in a while. That's absolutely fine, but we shouldn't need any classrooms to become a planet pilot. We should be able to educate ourselves with others through life without needing a classroom, or without needing to be in a classroom for 10, 15 years. We can choose to be there if we find that's helpful, but we don't have to. We are being supported by an environment that understands why we are educating for life and why we are planet pilots. And we are part of a community also offline that we learn together with, co-learning communities that can have a short lifespan, or it can go on for years and years, where we keep learning together if we appreciate learning with the same people. If we need to learn with different people on different topics, we can form those new virtual and in-person communities. We have the chance, the technologies to do this. There are some similar initiatives in place that we'd like to collaborate with, and certainly turn this into the new normal at some point in time. So we need to pave the way there. All right. It's time to also introduce the amazing community members that have volunteered to be in our coach team. The coach team for this particular sprint that will start in February is immensely valuable to get an external perspective from somebody who understands the sprint methodology, the sprint process, somebody who understands the importance of disrupting our own current thinking about what we are trying to do, and somebody who's interested in you and interested in what you're trying to do. And we have this amazing group of coaches who I think should just be given the chance to introduce themselves here in the call. So I'm going to help you unmute yourself if you cannot, but I'd like to begin with Fabian. And welcome, Fabian. I'm just going to give you the chance here. I think you can unmute yourself now, Fabian.
Yeah.
Welcome on board.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Fabian.
Good. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I'm just trying to figure this out. I think I cannot share video, but well, this is me. This is Fabian. I am an Excel coach from Mexico, and I'm very excited about this challenge. I'll be working with you during the whole time the sprint goes. I'm going to push you to think 10x, to have that exponential mindset, to challenge your ideas, to look for new perspectives. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to go through to this journey together. First, understanding the challenges and how the technologies are changing the world. Then we're going to create ideas. We're going to select the best ideas. We're going to go and test them with groups. We're going to disrupt them. That's, I think, my favorite part of the sprint. And then we're going to create prototypes and launch what we want to create. So it's an amazing opportunity. I'm so happy to be here to contribute to this challenge and to make the future of education something worth and something, leave something better for the world. So excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, Lars.
Thank you very much, Fabian, for being here. It's going to be awesome to do this together. Thank you. So, all right. We also have, I think I saw Curtis. Let me just help Curtis to unmute here. It's a nice long list of everybody here. All right, Curtis, you should be able to unmute and say hi.
Check. Test
Hey,
1, 2. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, Lars and Fabian and everybody. Hey, it'll be great to work with you all. My name is Curtis Michelson. I'm in Orlando, Florida. A lifelong learner myself and a curious explorer. I'm by trade, a profession, a coach and consultant, also, of course, an EXO coach. And a lot of my clients tend to be in media publishing and higher ed or education, libraries, that kind of thing. So this is just such a natural fit for me. I'm delighted to work with Lars and, of course, Fabian, who I know well. And I think we're off to a great start. So looking forward to working with my team. And we are going to explore a wide range of ideas and stretch really far. So looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kurt. It's amazing to have you here. So next I want to find on the list here is Sahar. Sahar just joined recently, but I'm very excited to have Sahar here.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Sahar.
Great. Thank you, Lars. My name is Sahar. I'm from Bahrain, from the Middle East, a very, very tiny island. Very excited to be joining this sprint. I'm very passionate about everything related to the future of work. from education to jobs and changing the status quo. And I love being part of the ecosystem, and I'm looking forward to disrupting the current system. Looking forward to meet everyone here.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Lars. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for being part of this. Excellent. Next up is, I'd like to say hi to Jamil. Hey, Jamil. You should be able to unmute as well. I think you are unmuted, Jamil, but I cannot hear you. All right, we'll get back to Jamil. Great. And next up, Jamil has lost audio. That happens to all of us from time to time. Sorry to hear, Jamil. We'll get back to Jamil later. Let's hear from Michael Schmidt. Sir, let me just find you here and make sure you can unmute. There we go. Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I'm calling in from Vancouver, Canada. I'm an innovation coach, and I've been part of several communities, but new to the Educate for Life. I also just recently got involved in the EXO community. I'm very excited about this because it's very personal for me. I have a 12-year-old son myself, and yeah, I want to play a part and make sure that that he gets the education and everyone with him and after him that they deserve. Something needs to change. So I'm very excited to work and like Fabian said, to go for the radical ideas and to disrupt, but do it in a positive way and an exciting way. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for sharing that, Michael. It's deeply personal for me too, so I totally understand you. I'm very excited to be connected and have you part of this sprint. Thank you for being here. I'd like to, I know it's also early morning for Jabin, and maybe Jabin is not able so much to to coach, but surely to support. So hey, Jabin, I just wanted you to say hi to the community.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jabin Kadir, based in Toronto, Canada. And I've been a part of the Open EXO community since before the book Exponential Organizations was written. So a very long time, and I've had the pleasure of working with Lars on many initiatives. A lot of my focus within the community has been working with Fast Track Institute, where it's a multi-stakeholder environment, and we work with cities and public, private, and academic sectors to bring exponential innovation and solutions to urban challenges, and also social institutions. So a lot of my advisory role will probably be related to making sure that all stakeholder needs are considered and the needs of the users, and you know, there's a balanced representation of interests as we do the change management needed to implement the solutions. And I'm very honored to be a part of this second sprint. Thank you, Lars.
I'm so excited to have you here, Jabin. Thank you so much. We always need your support, and we always have it. So thank you so much for being here. Excellent. I just wanted, I haven't had the chance to catch up with Kim Aratzi, but Kim, you're on the call and you're a coach as well. So let's just say hi to Kim as well. Hey, Kim, can you hear me?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I can hear you, Lars. Nice to be here. And I'm not yet sure exactly what my role will be on this sprint, but I'm very passionate about the future of education and about yeah, just changing the system to help young people work towards a future where they have the skills they need and all the tools they need, which I don't feel the current system is offering them. And I'm exploring different angles of this. So I might come in as a coach, or I might be working with a team that has an idea. Actually, the person that I wanted to be on the call today cannot make it. So hopefully I can send her a recording, because she has some thoughts about what she wants to bring to this community, and I might work with her. So I haven't yet decided yet, but I'm just very passionate about this whole initiative. So I'm very pleased to be part of it in one way or another. So
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kim. I was excited you could join, and also just briefly introduce yourself here. So thank you. Good to have you. And then I think I may be mistaken. I think the last coach that we are introducing today is Crystal, last but not least. So Crystal, over to you.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Crystal.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm Crystal. I'm from Vietnam. I'm very excited to be with you on this journey in our 2020 sprint. So like within this journey, I will be with you and support everybody in understanding and completing the exercise as well as the assignment. So about me, my massive transformative purpose is to democratize qualified education. That means to make qualified education available and abundant to everybody. So joining this sprint is actually like within my MGP, and I'm very willing to join and then to be with you like in the future of education. I'm an entrepreneur and EXO consultant, and currently I'm leading the digital transformation and exponential transformation community in Vietnam. So to finish, I just wish all of you like enjoying this journey and then have a lot of great experience together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Crystal.
Yeah.
In addition, Crystal is also part of the core sprint coordination team, and Crystal is very helpful also in our online community platform and is helping to moderate. Their moderation in our community just means to help when somebody needs to find the right kind of information or any kind of guidance. Fortunately, we have never had any other need for moderation, but Crystal is part of that core team, and thank you, Crystal, for that. So
that's my pleasure. Thank you.
Perfect. So let's move on, but there can be more coaches joining the coach team. So we'll get back to formalize all of that as we are getting closer to the actual start of the sprint on February 24. So we'll get back to this. Now I just wanted to go through the sprint timeline, what's going to happen. And we have the kickoff and information call right now, but the sprint actually begins with a virtual awake workshop on February 24. This is where we are giving ourselves the shock and awe effect, telling us what is really possible to do, giving us some extreme examples of what could be done. And that is going to get us started in the sprint. That is then followed by a one-day, what we call a line workshop. This is where we practice the methodology before we really get started. And I have some online collaboration exercises. It's going to be really fun. On 2nd of March, we begin the first sprint week, where the teams follow the sprint process and work on some predefined assignments. No matter what topic or theme you're working on, you will be working on the same assignment. but obviously your findings and your creations are going to be different from team to team. This is where the co-team is going to be super helpful. And we are going to meet often as a community also to exchange our discoveries, our learnings, our problems, our questions, and support each other on this journey that we are going through the next 10 weeks together. And on this journey, we have 10 weeks. Each week, there's a new assignment that takes us through the research and new discoveries to an ideation phase where we create these new crazy ideas for a new paradigm. Whatever problem you want to solve in education, whatever idea you may have, that is the chance to put some words on them, to try to visualize them. And then we're going in the following week to do some rapid testing of these ideas. And we have our community where it's absolutely the best conditions, in my opinion, to test crazy ideas, because we are all here to accomplish the same thing and support each other. So you can test your crazy ideas in this community and also outside of the community. But we get back to all of that later on. We are going to prepare ourselves then to select just a handful of ideas. Could be fewer, could be more. We'll get back to that as we get closer to the sprint. But about a handful of ideas that we are going to kind of present at a more detailed level to each other. Then we'll meet halfway through the sprint. That's 5 weeks into the sprint, where we meet in a virtual disrupt workshop. This is where we have a panel of disruptors to listen to your ideas and provide you with disruptive feedback. How could we give a 10x more impact in this world with this idea? We take your idea apart and we work with you to put it back together in different ways to hopefully give you a much more impactful initiative. Based on the learnings from that Disrupt workshop, we'll make some decisions on which ideas we want to move through the last part of the sprint, the last 5 weeks. And then we begin prototyping. This is a low fidelity prototype where we try to visualize what we have in mind. And that allows us to get even better, more detailed, more constructive feedback from our community friends, but also from educators, from students and other learners outside of the community. We are using the prototype to learn whether this can work in the form and shape it currently has, with the business model it has, with the value proposition it has, with the purpose around it. Then we're going to iterate on this. And at the end of the sprint, this is on the 12th of May, we have a virtual pitch event. We call it a launch workshop, where we get together again. Again, there's a panel there, and you're pitching your initiatives to a panel for feedback. And based on that feedback, you as a team, as different teams, can now make decisions for yourself, whether you want to continue to actually build and implement your initiative, or whether you think this was enough. We couldn't find enough validation for this idea in the form and shape it has now. That is a team decision entirely. That is all your decision. And I really, really hope that you want to form some implementation team. Maybe we can create new startups out of this, or at least new work groups or same work groups that can continue to actually build your ideas and bring them into life. That would be amazing. And we will do everything we can to attract the resources you will need, and in other ways support you on that journey. We want to be that supporting community that can let you succeed on this journey to create the future of education. We're going obviously to properly evaluate, and I can tell you we have a lot of evaluation data from the first sprint, and that is being used to improve the sprint compared to last time. I think there are some things that now we have some even better tools for a lot of different areas, but there's also some things that work so well, so we just couldn't find a better way of doing things. So let us know during the whole journey here how things work for you, and anything that doesn't work. We are the ones who can fix things, who can improve things, who can change things, and pretty much anything around this sprint can be tweaked and modified and improved, even on the fly. So let us know any concerns or questions you have. And also, I'm sure you're going to share your breakthroughs during this journey. That was just the very brief introduction to the actual process, and you can find this on our website as well. So you can find the specific dates where each sprint week begins, for example. All the assignments will be online, easy to study on your own time as a team. And we're going to give you the tools you need for your team collaboration. Many of you are really remote teams, also in the sense that we come from different regions of this beautiful planet. So we really need collaboration tools to make this as effective as we want and as we need. So we'll give you those tools and tell you how they work. I tried to put all the practical information on the website on EducateforLife, and we have a sub page called 2020 Sprint, which you find in the top menu. And in here, I will also, moving forward, put a lot of practical information, and any new questions that come my way, I will answer them, and certainly update the information on the website so it's a helpful resource for you during the journey. But as I said, we also have our Mighty Networks community platform where you can ask your questions live, and we'll do our very best to answer you there. What you do to register for this sprint, to join, and also if you want to recommend others in your network to join the sprint, what all they need to do is to register their interest. So there's no committed sign up until we have formed the sprint teams. But what you do now is register your interest. Some of you already did, and actually many have done, and that's very exciting. And there are many more to join in the coming about a month here. Go to the 2020 Sprint page, and at the bottom, you see the register for 2020. This is where you put in your name, and you're also being given some different roles you can choose between. You can mark, select, please, any role that you find interesting, whether it's as a sprint participant, as advisor, or coach, or some other role. You can find all the roles in that form and select the ones that you find compelling and just submit it. And we'll get that information. And in the coming weeks here, we are reaching out to everybody to start the team formation and help everybody to get into a team around a theme or a challenge that everybody in the same team are interested in working on. We need highly motivated teams. We always have highly motivated teams, but that's because you care about the same challenges, about the same issues and opportunities in changing education. So we're going to create these teams. Some of you, I think also on this call, already bring a team, a complete team into the sprint. That's great. Welcome to the whole team. When I reach out to you, then I will be interested to hear if you can take in additional team members, or if somebody from your team wants to transition to another team working on another topic. That also sometimes happens, and that's absolutely fine. As I said, we want everybody to be super motivated and working on the right challenge. This is the community platform, and once you are a part of a sprint team, then we will give you a group here in the online community platform. And you can, I'm sure you have all seen these groups, but never mind the ones that are here already. We are creating a new group for each sprint team in this new sprint, and everybody will be given access to that group, and that's a collaborative space where you can chat, you can arrange team calls, and you can share documents, you can share inspiring articles and whatever you want. You can keep it in there just for your teams to see, We also have, which you see in the middle of the screen here, we have what I call the public school library. It's not really a school library. That is kind of where we share a lot of articles and videos and stuff we come across on all sorts of topics that are in some way related to education and to the future of education. It can be about technology, it can be about curriculum, it can be about regulation, can be about anything else. So you can join straight away the public school library group and find a lot of inspiring articles in there. Feel free to share in there also articles you come across, but we keep it in there not to spam the whole community platform. So we try to keep articles and content in there that is for everybody, but we don't want it to put it out in the top level of the community. But as I said, you will each be getting a group, a work group, and you have the opportunity to chat with each other. There's an online chat, and lots of opportunities to create on the fly video calls or chat sessions, or let us know what other activities that you could find interesting and useful to arrange. We are all ears and all eager to innovate how we collaborate online as well. So I've been talking about the community sprint, which, by the way, of course, is entirely free to join. They're free to join for us as individuals and not-for-profit teams, but we also at the same time run a parallel sprint track, which is primarily for educational institutions, could be business schools and other institutions and schools, also for-profit businesses in the educational industry that wants to bring a team, that wants the full coaching package that you normally have in a professional EXO sprint, and you get advisor calls and all of these things. For those of you who are familiar with the EXO sprint, this is what you get, and it's dedicated for professional teams that work in the educational sector, and they pay for that stream. And that is how we sponsor the whole sprint and the whole community. And that's what keeps the community sprint free for everybody, which we want it to be. That is very important for us. The pro sprint teams will have the opportunity to interact with you as well. You don't have to do that interaction, but you can start to work with pro teams that work in your interest area, that are asking questions that you find interesting. So there is a collaboration opportunity if you want that. And the education institutions that we have joining are very interested in the lifelong learning aspect. The fact that we don't have a one-act career anymore. We actually have easily 5 or 6 or maybe more act careers. We need very different skill sets over time for different roles. But we are not coming back for 5 or 6 degrees, are we, at a university at least? Not so many are. So we need to acquire the learning, the education, some other ways. And we do. And the higher education institutions know that. And we get a very, very positive response to our theme and our topic here. And this is why we have this primarily a higher education track that we call the Pro Sprint in parallel. This is also to explore the deep tech, the technologies that are disrupting the current business models of educational institutions, and very much so also higher education institutions, business schools and others that have to reinvent themselves. And this is an opportunity for educational institutions and other professionals. It's also an opportunity to get this 10x reach. The network that we represent, the network that also the exponential organizations community represent, and above and beyond, schools and institutions need to get out of their local area and explore how their future business models can be relevant worldwide or in a larger area in new ways. And we apply, of course, the exponential organization's attributes during the sprint. We do that, of course, in both tracks, also the community track here, and help us figure out, for example, how do we compete with free world-class online content? How do we serve global markets and so on? This is where the methodology of exponential organizations become very impactful and will help us to disrupt education, disrupt the way we think about education, and create that new paradigm, or at least to innovate on an existing business model that is kind of on the way south. So there are different ways for these pro teams to participate. And the default approach is they bring their own team and they're being coached through the sprint by somebody from our coach team here. This is the default option, but we also, and this is new, this is an experiment, but I think it's an exciting one and of a lot of value for everybody. We could, if the pro teams are interested, we can mix the team with some of you, for example, who would be interested in working for one of those teams, in one of those teams. Obviously, if you're passionate about the topic of the team and connected to the purpose and what they're trying to do, that could possibly be an opportunity. We'll let you know if we have these opportunities. And the extreme other side of that is that could be a team of that entirely consists of you, and this would be obviously sponsored by the institution or the company behind the participation. So these are different options for how a team could be put together on the pro stream. But by default, the institution or the company that would join the pro stream would bring their own team. We're coming to the end of the introduction of the sprint, but I'm sure you're all on the mobile app when it comes to our community platform. If you're not, you should definitely download the app. If you log in on the web, then there is a function under your profile where you can text yourself a link to the app, and then you get mobile. I really enjoy the mobile app to stay connected to the teams and be part of the conversations. So I really encourage you to go mobile as well. The events, and this is where I want to again promote a particular part of the community platform, the events part. This is where you already signed up for this particular event and you joined through the link. So that part works. I'm very excited about that. You can also see the next event that I really encourage you to register your participation for and put it in your calendar. It's on February 24. The time you see here is Central European time because it's a screen dump from my calendar. So it would be a different time for you, but you should see that when you log in. You should see the right time in your time zone. February 24th is when we all gather for the Live Awake workshop. There will be other sessions that will be published soon under events. But one of them is one of the many community events we are going to do. We're going to do a lot of these, about 60 to 90 minutes, focused on one particular topic. We bring in somebody typically from our community, but could also be from the outside. Maybe they can join to talk about a particular topic of interest for many of us. And there's one that I just announced earlier today. It's on the 3rd of March. It's about the future of tech in education. And this is, it's going to be exciting, I can tell you. And I know that everybody here is interested in tech, EdTech at some level. So you should definitely register for this particular session. I placed it in the particular week where we are researching on emerging technologies and exponential technologies that makes a huge impact on the education sector. So in that week, we're going to have this call. And similarly, all the other sprint weeks, we will have similar calls, but on other topics. So we have relevant topics for the sprint assignment that we are working on each week. We are also going to reach out to all of you. You will maybe be delivering some of these sessions. We'll see, but if none of these topics are really immediately your specialty, that's absolutely fine. But maybe you're interested in speaking about another topic that we would be interested in, or facilitating a community session. We would love to know, and we'd love to schedule that as an open community call for everybody to join. So please do let us know. You can do that in the online platform here. Please post a suggestion for a topic, and we'll be happy to arrange a community session on your favorite topic, also with you as a facilitator or a guest speaker or in some other role. Okay, we have come to the Q&A part, and we have left plenty of time for this part. So I'm going to turn my head and start looking at the many great comments that you have been putting into the chat and into the Q&A box. So now is a good time to add any other questions as well into the Q&A box. So let me start looking at what we have here. Thank you, and Jamil just put a quick intro. And Jamil, if you wanna or are able to unmute and introduce yourself now, you are very welcome. If it doesn't work for you, I can just read out your brief introduction here.
I can try that, Lars. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jamil, it works now.
Okay, great. My apologies for the earlier tech issue. So I thank you for giving me a second chance. It's a delight to be here. So as I, at the risk of repeating my intro, I'm based in Dubai, but born and brought up in London. I've worked in about 12 countries, mainly in consulting, and been following the whole exponential organizations kind of journey for some time, and recently qualified as a coach, and I'm hugely excited and honored to be working on education. I've worked with an education startup as well, on how they could look at their not-profit business model and really kind of grow that exponentially. Found that really exciting, and I'm just thrilled to be part of this. Thank you.
Exciting, Jamil. It's very exciting to have you on board. Thank you very much for being in this role and being part of the sprint. I'm excited to do this together.
Awesome. Me too.
All right. So Michael asks, can we still invite others within our network to join? Absolutely, yes. There are a couple of people at least, I feel could be interesting and benefit from this. We'd love to have anybody that any of you would recommend. As a matter of fact, more than 85% of our community today consists of people who have been recommended to join by somebody else in the community, and I'm very proud of that this is a network that's growing through you. So please do invite others who would be relevant, who would be passionate and crazy enough to do this with us. Absolutely, keep them coming. I was about to say, if you go onto the community platform in the Mighty Networks, on your profile photo, the icon of your profile, if you click that, you will find a function to invite others, and that means you just enter their email address, and there's a draft email already, but you can change that, and then you send the invitation, and that means that they will have easy access to join the community, and they can get started right away when they join. So we'd love to have new community members, also community members joining the sprint. Just to refresh us, that the sprint begins on February 24. So we still have plenty of time to introduce friends and connections to the sprint, and invite them. And we have time to properly onboard them, and they will have this recording also as context and background information. But we are also going to do a number of Q&A video calls before the sprint begins. So there will be plenty of time to ask questions and get any support on getting you ready. So keep them coming, Michael. Let me see any other questions. Then Curtis, okay, is the do-it-yourself team option for the pro sprint only, or can it be for the main sprint also? I support a small non-profit innovation in education called HeroSpark. I would love to bring them on board as a team. that is absolutely possible. We want to support small startups in the education space. Please bring them, Curtis, into this sprint. So the do-it-yourself team option, they can, you know, it's also available for small profits. Let's discuss exactly how we can best help them and which stream they would get the most benefit from joining. So that's absolutely possible. Yay! Thank you, Curtis, for asking. Any other questions? Some of you are already super experienced in the sprint game. I know some of you, maybe you are as well, but you're new to this community, so you may have a lot of questions. But you can always find me on this community platform, ask questions, and as we are moving forward, you're going to start to see more posts and articles around the team formation, around the preparation for the sprint. I'm going to share different guidelines and helpful information for you as you're building your team and preparing to also select the topic of the sprint for your particular team. And also you're going to get options to join existing teams where the theme is already set. You may be super attracted by one of the topics and one of the sprint groups, and then you would have the option to join that group. You can bring your own group as well, form your own group with people from your own network, invite them into the platform, and we'll form that team so you can go through this together. I would love to have groups of students as well going through the sprint. I would love to connect to families that want to be part of trying new technology solutions as well. Part of this sprint is also different very innovative learning apps and other solutions that we'd like to offer, most of them at no charge, to families that would like to handle their own education outside of traditional school systems and the traditional tools and approaches offered by most schools. But some of these solutions would be great inside of school environments as well. So if you represent a school or university, another institution that wants to tap into these disruptive ideas and new technologies and learn more about that, please join our community, join our sprint, and you will have full access to these different solutions that we already have on the shelf to offer, and more information about that is coming. But we also always interested to hear about new startups or solutions that could be useful to bring into the hands of learners out there in the world through our community. So we'd be happy to facilitate that and be that platform for experimentation and testing. And obviously everybody will be fully informed about the purpose of what we do. We are not a formal education system. We don't represent that. We represent a lot of experimentation and radical ideas sometimes. But we want to do this because we believe the world needs this new paradigm. We need a new way of letting education play out. So please do invite anybody who would find this relevant and who would be interested to join our tribe here. Any other questions from you? Put them in the chat or in the Q&A here. And again, thank you very much for your new beliefs here. I'm going to capture them. I already did, and then I'm going to I will anonymize them and put them in our community platform, right? So we can see the conversations that happened in the chat here during the session today. I really find that interesting and exciting. All right, I think we are going to wrap the session here for today. This was really all I had. I hope this was a useful introduction to the sprint that's coming up on February 24, and it was so exciting to see you all again here in our 2020 kickoff. We will have an exciting year ahead where we will make a huge impact on the education space, and we are going to define all of that we cannot find today, and we want to change the game here. So I want deeply with gratitude to thank you all, and I look forward to see you again very soon online. Thank you all, and take care.